Hello, and welcome to our trip around the English and Welsh coastline. In the last episode, we showed you around the glorious Gower Peninsula. We're making our way along the main road from Mumbles to Swansea.
Well, it's a lovely long sweep of a coast road around Swansea Bay, isn't it, from Mumbles Head all the way into the city.
Although it looks like a glorious sandy beach, I do believe it's a lot like Weston-super-Mare, and it's muddy and sinking sand, so that's probably why there's not many people on there.
To our right lies the Bristol Channel. The Welsh have their own name for it, Môr Hafren, which literally means Seven Sea. In fact, up until Tudor times, it was only known as the Severn Sea. Upstream, the channel leads to the River Severn. The Bristol Channel is the biggest inlet of its kind in the UK and separates South Wales from southwest England. It has the second highest tidal range in the world. Tidal range is the difference in height between high and low tide. In the open sea, this is normally about 1 metre. Closer to the coast, this range is much greater. The Bristol Channel acts like a huge funnel for the massive Atlantic Ocean that lies to the west. Twice a day, it rises and falls at an average of 12.3 metres and regularly experiences highs of 15 metres. Where the land gently slopes like here at Swansea Bay and where we live on the other side in Weston-super-Mare, this means the tide goes up to 1.5 miles out. That's why it seems like the water's always out when people visit Weston. The scale and effect of the tides here is hard to fathom. The Bristol Channel flows into the Severn estuary and meets the River Severn, where it is still tidal at Gloucester Docks. Other rivers and inlets such as the Avon, Usk and Wye are similarly affected by the tide. It's massive. It is accepted that the powerful currents and volumes of water that flow in and out twice a day could be used to harness huge amounts of electrical energy. Various schemes have been proposed, but nothing has ever materialised. The Bristol Channel also provides access to numerous ports. Today, the biggest and most active is at Avonmouth. Historically, the channel has serviced commerce and industry such as coal and steel on the Welsh side, and the merchant shipping at the inland ports of Bristol and Gloucester as far back as the 13th century. The tides are extremely hazardous and have garnered a reputation for producing the best mariners in the world. Even today, with powered ships and sophisticated autonomous navigation, pilots are required to board and guide shipping into the docks at Avonmouth and Portbury. Just imagine what it must have been like when competing pilots raced their cutters to reach sailing ships that they then navigated the tides and winds up the rivers Severn and Avon to reach Gloucester and Bristol. Not so long ago, South Wales was dominated by industry, primarily due to its large deposits of premium quality coal. Coal fueled the steam engines and furnaces of the Industrial Revolution. As well as being exported throughout the world, it gave rise to heavy industries throughout South Wales, mainly smelting works. From the early 1700s to the late 1800s, Swansea was the world's leading copper smelting area. Copper and other melting ores were shipped from Cornwall and Devon, as well as from North and South America, Africa and Australia. Because each ton of copper ore smelted used about 3 tons of coal, it was more economical to ship the copper ore to Wales rather than sending the coal to the copper mines. In the 1850s, Swansea had more than 600 furnaces and a fleet of 500 ocean-going ships exporting Welsh coal and bringing back metal ore from around the world. Smelters also processed arsenic, tin, zinc and other metals. The city expanded rapidly in the 18th and 19th centuries. Much of the grand architecture here dates from that period. Copper smelting at Swansea declined in the late 1800s. Today, there's virtually no sign of the hundreds of furnaces that were once here.
This is all that remains of the Swansea slip bridge. You might be able to make out that it once supported a span over the road. It seems to be overkill when people could more easily cross the road. But let's take you back 100 years and it will all make sense. This is the view from the bridge. It once crossed a railway and a tramway. In fact, the railway that ran from Swansea to Mumbles was the first in the world to carry passengers and was pulled by a horse back then. The bridge itself was iconic, one of the few remnants from the Victorian era following the long period of deindustrialisation and Swansea's devastation from German bombing in the Second World War. But it fell into disrepair and the bridge was removed in 2004 and sits at the side of the road a few hundred yards back.
Prison on the seafront.
Well, you'll be able to smell the sea air.
Yeah.
This is the 6th and last prison we will pass on our trip around the coast.
Hold on a moment, Esther, and let's just go back a few frames. I think we may just have witnessed a prison break. He certainly seemed to be in a bit of a hurry.
It was constructed between 1845 and 1861, which makes it one of the 90 Victorian prisons that were built. This was the most significant period of prison construction in UK history, and this is one of the 32 Victorian prisons that are still operating today. Nowadays they are criticised for poor living conditions, but at the time they were a groundbreaking model of prison reform and were a huge improvement on the existing prison accommodation and system. Before this prison was built, inmates were incarcerated at Swansea Castle. 15 executions have been conducted here, and the condemned men are still buried in unmarked graves within the site.
So, yeah, the marina's this way. This is why I've got us coming this way.
Yeah, nice.
Like many areas in the UK, South Wales has undergone a very slow transition from its heavy industrial past to what you see today. Considering most of the smelting works disappeared over 100 years ago, it's quite surprising how much waste ground there still is, and how long it's taken for areas like this to see some sort of regeneration. It makes you appreciate the scale of the industry that was here, that such large docks were built just to manage the logistics of moving the materials. This is only what's to the west of the River Tor. To the east lies a much larger area of docklands and the wastelands of the old industries. It also makes me think what Swansea and areas like it do today. How exactly does it manage to sustain itself and contribute to the greater economy? It no longer produces and processes raw materials like coal and copper, and it doesn't appear to have any significant manufacturing presence. Presumably, it has embraced the tertiary sector. But how can a society survive on just trade, transport and tourism?
Wow. They're horrendous, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
Looks like something like communist Russia.
Yeah.
Presumably they're people's homes. Oh, it's a university.
Anyway, why I'd taken a wrong turn back here. What's the best bit up here? Crumbs, which way now?
Yeah, this way, yeah.
Sorry.
Otherwise, just going back down the road you came on, my dear.
Yeah. No, that's the bridge we went across. This is the bridge we should have gone across.
Yes. Presumably the old one.
We have a rule when crossing rivers on our coast adventure, and that is we try to take the bridge or ferry closest to the coast. The M4 is strictly nearer than the A48 bridge, and on this occasion we had intended to break our rule, but Jared took a wrong turn. So we've had to turn around so that we can get to the seafront and explore this fascinating stretch of coast. Unlike Swansea, the heavy industry is still very much in evidence here. We'll tell you more about what that industry is in the next episode, but for now we'll take a look along the beach and show you what makes it different. We have occasionally come across similar places like this. Although it's heavily populated, there's not much of the usual seaside attractions. The few cafes that are here are relatively new and are an effort to bring some of that tertiary sector that Jared spoke about earlier to this tough, hard-working community.
Looks like it's shut down for the summer.
Yes, or maybe just for Saturday.
Yeah. Here we are. The
Point
seafront.
of destination. Looks delightful. Wow, look, the houses on the seafront's nice. But where is the seafront?
Just out there.
I wonder if there's a beach. I don't know, do we?
Yeah, there is. You can see the beach on the map.
You're going to go in the car park here. Go and have a quick look.
Yeah.
gorgeous beach. Absolutely lovely. Sand dunes as well. Really nice.
It's fascinating.
It is, isn't it?
There's your cafe.
Yeah. People enjoying
Popular?
an ice cream, yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that. We've got a lovely long stretch of sand. And it looks like it's alright sand because there's people all over, well, you know, in the sea and on the sand. It's not like it's all sinky, it looks like good sand. As opposed to sinky, muddy sand, I mean.
Yeah, I agree. And look what you got as a backdrop. The cranes and the smokestack. Oh, look at the Lido.
Oh, I love it.
Or whatever, water park.
Water park with a little
Gorgeous.
Yeah. That's just what you need on a day like this.
Lots of space.
Lots of space, yeah.
Lots of parking.
Lots of little nice cafes which are all full. People enjoying the sunny weekend. Yeah. It's got a nice feel to it.
Yeah. It's not bad, is it?
I mean, that's a massive council house estate, mind. It's been all the way along. Well, that's seen better days, unfortunately. Family bar and restaurant, that's doomed.
We're doomed.
Which is a shame because it's right on the seafront.
We are essentially in Port Talbot. The main part of the town sits back from the coast and industry on the lower slopes of the wonderful Welsh hills that virtually crown the entire stretch of South Wales. The M4 cuts through the town on stilts. To one side rises the backdrop of the beautiful countryside, and on the other the town, full of tiny terraces with the industry and coast beyond. The elevated motorway gives a surreal perspective of the rooftops. Imagine growing up with the view and sounds of the busy motorway just yards away from your bedroom window. During this series, we have tried to highlight any notable people that were born or have lived in the places we have visited along the way. Just in case you were wondering why I didn't mention Dylan Thomas earlier when we were in Swansea, where he was born and wrote his earliest and some say best literature, Thomas got a full feature in episode 65. You'll have to watch it to find out why. Also in episode 65, I commented how Aberystwyth boasted an association with 266 famous people, and yet I'd hardly heard of any of them. Sorry Aberystwyth, but it appears Port Talbot's claim to fame is more credible and really quite impressive for such a relatively small, down-to-earth town. I may not know most of the 47 men and women it cites in its Wikipedia page, but there are some pretty big hitters among them. Even the unfamiliar names have impressive credentials. In particular, Port Talbot seems to generate a disproportionate number of actors and singers. If you know why, let us and everyone else know in the comments.
Oh, well, it's not down there by the look of it.
No, it's not down here. This is me just taking us out somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, that byway there is, whatever it's called, pier is tempting, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Lovely, isn't it?
Yeah. A little bit of everything. Including industry.